Last time on the Arias adventures.
So Rhodes says, essentially that he'll stay wherever you guys want, but you can see that his eyes are kind of darting all over the place as he's just watching all of these people, and he's much, much tenser than he was when you guys were on the road.
You see that there is a table full of Nikogen. Over by one of the back doors, you see a tall orc woman.
So I'm definitely torn between going over and trying to eavesdrop in on the Nikogen table, because Rhodes is very curious about them, since they look sort of like him, and they're pretty much the only creatures he's found on this continent so far that do.
So we'll have to kind of find something to do with these 4 days. Maybe we can check out.
Maybe they have something local we can do just to stay busy, earn a little gold. I'm not really enjoying this crowd, if you couldn't tell.
All right. So if I remember correctly, you didn't take one of the beds. You were more comfortable like on the floor.
Yes. Yeah. I just sort of laid out my bedroll on the floor and curled up on it.
Yep. Alrighty. So it's a comfortable room, nice and warm. After a bit of hearing the echoes of laughter and stuff coming, music from below, it finally quiets down for the night, and you're finally able to relax after this, overwhelming largeness of the city. So you get a good night of sleep for the night. And you are also the first one to wake up. You arise pretty early. It's not quite dawn yet. Moon's still just a bit out, but you feel really relaxed and whatnot. You can hear the faint sound of some metalworking off in the distance from one of the nearby buildings and whatnot. So like there are the faint sounds of busy work just beginning.
Okay. I guess I'll get up and quietly go downstairs, trying not to wake up. I think I was sharing a room with Mannie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Mannie's softly snoring.
Yeah, I'm not gonna wake up my little buddy. I'm gonna head on downstairs and see what I can find about some breakfast.
When you get downstairs, you find the big orc woman, Fiora. She's pulling chairs off of and benches off of tables and whatnot, and begins setting them out. And you see, for like a big woman, she's being very like almost meticulous. Like this is a routine for her. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't seem to notice you. You hear some talking coming from the kitchen and whatnot, and you smell what's like coffee brewing. Coffee, I'm going to guess, is maybe a new thing for you here in Arias. I don't know if that's something you had back home on the road.
Probably not, but I imagine that I would be intrigued by the smell. But I think that instead of just sort of dashing off in the kitchen, I think I'm going to, without saying anything, just start pulling chairs off of tables, just like Fiora's doing, just sort of start getting the room set up.
She hears you pull some chairs off, and she quickly turns around and sees you, and she's just like, you don't have to do that. If you want, I can go get Blitz or someone if you're hungry, but you don't have to do that.
I just sort of shrug and say, I'm bored, and hold out another chair.
Oh, okay. Are you sure? I don't want you to feel like you have to.
No, it's fine until I find something more interesting to do. Hold on another chair.
Oh, okay. Thanks. She watches you for a moment, and then she goes back to her work, silently kind of getting lost in, the routine of it all. After a few minutes, you hear some clattering and sounds like people are greeting somebody. And after a few more moments, the door to the kitchen bursts open, and you see Blitz coming out all fresh and hair done up extra spiky today, and she doesn't have her apron on, but you see she's got a steaming mug of coffee, and she's got a rag thrown over her shoulder, and she comes out and she greets Fiora. Morning, dear. And then she turns around and notices you. Oh, hello. Give me a second. It was Road that Winds. Is that correct?
Yeah, I just sort of nod and say, "Yep, that's me."
Well, fantastic. Are you hungry?
Yeah, that sounds phenomenal. What's that smell? I'm referencing the coffee.
Oh, that is one of my hazelnut coffees. It is my absolute favorite. Would you like me to go grab you a glass?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
All right. And is there anything in particular you're hungry for? We've got the guys in back are whipping up a variety of things.
Think for a second. I go, bird, some form of bird.
Bird? All right. I'm sure I can whip you up a fowl or two. All righty. Well, if you want to, you have the pick of the house wherever you'd like to sit, sweetheart, and I'll be back with your things.
Okay. And I sit down at the table, whatever the last table I pulled the chairs down off of was. Sit down there.
It's next to a small window that kind of faces toward like a side street. You see a couple of stray dogs like sniffing around outside for things, garbage and whatever. A couple of folks kind of like passing by with carts and whatever. Fiora walks by you and thanks you again for helping her as she heads back into the kitchen.
I just kind of nod at her absently.
And after a few minutes, is there anything else you wanted to do?
No, just that since I'm by the window, I want to position my chair so that I almost have to like sort of lean out to see out of the window, but that if I sit up straight, I'm not visible from the window, like
okay.
right up against sort of the wall there.
Sure.
And then just sort of going to enjoy the fact that things are quiet and empty right now after last night's, anxiety-riddled crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite the busier than the Shady Dagger. The Shady Dagger is kind of like your average podunk bar, but this is definitely a happening joint at night. So yeah, you're really enjoying the quiet of it all. And you're able to take in the size of the room. You didn't notice this the night before, but it looks like there's a second floor. You see like a ring, kind of, it opens up and you can see tables and chairs up on the second floor, like balcony view of the floor.
Okay.
On the first floor.
I'll sort of gawk at all of it. Very obviously, very blatantly until food arrives.
Yep. You see Blitz. She comes out and her, the dwarf who silently just kind of like kept an eye on things last night and whatnot. He comes out as well, helping her with a very large tray. And you see she's got a tray with like fresh bread, some fruit, two mugs of coffee with all the fixings. And then he's got like this larger tray just steeped with food. You smell eggs, bacon. You smell some quail and chicken and a couple of other birds varieties that you haven't learned yet here in Arias. And they both set the food down and whatnot, and she thanks the man and he nods quietly and then nods at you and heads back to the kitchen. And she sits down and she's just like, well, help yourself. There's biscuits, breads. I'm not sure like what all besides bird you liked, so I just kind of had them throw everything on the plate.
Thanks, sort of say awkwardly and like sort of scan everything. I think I'll reach for the cup of coffee first and like sniff it and then give it a...
It has a really nutty flavor smell to it. And whatnot. It smells really rich.
Yeah. Okay. I think that then I'll take a sip and assuming that's what it actually tastes like. I'll
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I'll like now sort of hold it with both hands, like sort of enjoying like the warmth and that little ray of sunlight
Hmm.
through the window there, and take a couple long draws off of it before putting it down and reaching for uh, you know some of the bacon and then some of the bird and just a lot of meat, on the plate here. Sort of, yeah.
Oh yeah, and the food is some of the best. I mean, like the food last night was good, and this ain't no like warmed up in the microwave leftovers. This is definitely like freshly cooked. The
Excellent.
It's all like the bread is still warm, like it just came out of the oven. The biscuits are flaky and crumbly. The butter looks like freshly churned and whatnot. So yeah, she definitely has pretty solid stock of stores and food here.
So I think that Road would be like, enjoying this and feeling like sort of the strain of the road, sort of the literal road, not him, but the actual, the roads they've been on, sort of melting from his body, but at the same time feeling a little unused to being pampered like this, to the point where it's almost a little like it doesn't come naturally to him to be sitting here.
Okay, so you obviously it's very obvious that this is a new experience for
Yeah,
you.
like one of those, either he's either waiting for the other shoe to drop on all of this, or that he's just so used to being out in the woods and having a very Spartan sort of
Mhm.
existence, that all of this luxury around him is nice, but he's not really sure what to do with it.
Oh, I hope that all tastes good for you, Rode.
Fantastic. Thank you. Why,
No, you're
we
welcome.
we owe you quite a bit of thanks, actually.
I'm always willing to help out anyone in need, especially if you're a friend of Den's. So, plus, I get to lord it over him later. She gives a chuckle as she sips her coffee.
Den must be a very special friend of yours then to merit this sort of welcome.
She has a little bit of a twinkle in her eye as she smiles. Oh, Den and I go way, way, way back. But yeah, he is, I could say he's quite special. If only I could get him to move up here. But to each their own.
So you like Fitzpark then?
Oh, I love Fitzpark. It's the perfect place for anyone who's looking for exciting things going on. And plus, like, where else can an inventor find her perfect place? So,
Yeah,
yes, I love this city.
I have to admit that I'm not exactly accustomed to so many people. And I sort of glance out the window, like side eye.
She looks at you. She's like, give it another hour, love, and it will be just as busy. So enjoy this quiet right now while you can. I know I usually do.
Is there anywhere else I might go for some quiet today?
Oh, needing to get a little R&R?
Yeah, I feel the earth beneath my paws, as it were, I suppose.
Well, she thinks for a moment, kind of like taps her finger to her chin. There are a couple of places. It all kind of depends on your interest. Let's see. There's Halfair Park. That's one of my favorite places to go.
A park? What's a park?
Yeah. Oh, let's see. It's a park. It's kind of like a small section of nature within the city.
Why?
Hmm?
Why would any? He's just like Rhodes starts like sort of like stumbling over his words, like trying to wrap his brain around the idea of like building a city around a small section of forest as opposed to like just keeping the forest. And
Well,
okay, so that's a possibility, I suppose. What you said there were a couple options.
yeah. So there's Halfair Park, one of my, especially, I will admit, as much as I love this city, sometimes, the noise does get to you. So you just need a quiet place to go. So I like to take an afternoon or two sometimes at Halfair Park. There's also Smithhurst Cove, which is just outside of the city. Let's see. If like beaches and coastal areas are a favorite of yours, let's see. There are, well, let's see. Lots of folk like to go out there and try to search among the rocks and whatnot for any washed up treasures that they could come across, and whatnot, from ships that have been lost at sea from ages ago. It's also, if you're interested in like clamming for oysters and whatnot, that's a pretty hearty area for seafood. Let's see. Oh, there's also those explorers who like to, search along the coast, or maybe take a small dinghy out a bit into the water and do some exploring for the lost floating city of Hidden Crank that supposedly sank into the Gajeston Bay. Oh, yeah.
That sounds fascinating.
It's definitely fascinating. I've been out there just because a couple of friends have drugged me out there in the past. The most I've ever come across is just planks of wood from ships and driftwood, but I've never come across anything that would indicate a lost long ago ancient city. And then if you really want to get out of the city, there are the Battleram Woods. Very thick, hardy forest with lots of various game, from giant grizzly bears to foxes and whatnot. But the thing that everybody, those who like to test their mettle and whatnot, are hunting the iron horn rams. Let me tell you, these aren't just like your regular mountain goats or anything. These are huge. Let's see, a full-grown adult one, an average one can get, let's see, larger than a or dire wolf.
It's pretty big.
Oh yes, they're huge. But their horns, if you're able to bag one and live to haul it back, their horns aren't just regular horns of an average animal. These horns are almost iron-like, hence their name. They're very similar to iron ore, and a lot of tinkerers and weaponsmiths here in the city like to use their horns as materials to make tools and crafting material for their various needs. But it's definitely one of those, like, if you're going to go and try to track one, you might want to take a group of people, because, like I said, just one kick from those things could crush a man's skull or cave a chest in.
That does sound fearsome beasts, and maybe a worthwhile prey, but I have to admit that my curiosity's piqued by this lost city.
I could tell you a little bit more about it.
Yeah,
but,
please.
Let's see. Hidden Crank. Most gnomes grew up hearing this story way back after this city was established, and the first tinkerers began their crafting and building. There supposedly was a especially gifted tinkerer by the name of Hidden Crank, and he had conceptualized the idea of pushing the bounds of engineering and crafting, and wanted to build a floating city. And story has it he succeeded, and it was the gnomes, like, Mecca. It was the jewel of all gnomes and all of the gnomish kingdoms. It was a combined effort from all the kingdoms and whatnot, and many skilled and talented engineers and whatnot put a lot of years of work into this thing, and even some spell casters got involved and were interested in helping with the efforts. Again, I mean, who wouldn't want to fly in the sky? It's pretty exciting. But it launched. It floated. Everyone talked about how it floated and how amazing it was, and all those engineers, all those arcanists, and all their families and people just interested in seeing what life would be like floating in the sky moved and moved to this city, and it floated for a week.
Oh.
Until a terrible storm from the ocean came. And people say the writings say that those who watched it from the city below saw as giant crashes of lightning just seemed to be targeting this city over and over and over with like a cruel intention of destruction. And it rained for 3 days and stormed for 3 days. And then there was a mighty crack and thunder, and the city began to break apart and plummet down into the bay. And no survivors were ever found from it. And for all we know, today it sits at the very bottom of the bay. But I will tell you that whether this story is 100% true or not, no tinkerer or engineer has ever attempted to create anything flying or anything at that grand of a scale.
Well, that sounds like something I want to go look for.
Well, you'd have to sail quite a ways out into the ocean or into the bay if you were interested in doing that. And then I don't know how well of a swimmer you are, but I would imagine that's quite a dive down.
How far out would I need to sail?
Oh, let's see. When I went out, it was probably a good day or so. Took up most of the day of course, we were on a larger bit of boat, so it moves a bit slower. I don't know if you could convince somebody with a smaller skiff to take you out, maybe.
And then how deep's the bay?
Oh, I would imagine leagues and leagues deep. Again, I'm not much of a swimmer or a diver, but a couple of my old engineer buddies tried to test out under a device that was supposed to allow you to travel underwater. I was too scared to test it out. I believe that thing was going to crush under the pressure of the ocean.
Sounds like quite the expedition.
It would be.
And so Rhodes sort of thinking this over and glancing up at, back over to where the rooms are and sort of thinking about how long he can disappear from his compatriots without them wondering what's happened to him.
She seems to take in your look, and she's just like, if I may, Rhodes, if you're worried about things, and after watching you last night, you seemed a bit on edge, it really doesn't hurt to take a little time for yourself to relax. And I'm sure your friends, they seem pretty understanding and whatnot. And you guys are going to be here for a time. I'm sure if you needed to escape for a little while, whether it be for the morning, afternoon, or day, I'm sure they'd understand. And if you'd like, you could leave a message with me.
Yeah, I think that would be nice. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
So you said that you had some friends who had an apparatus of some kind that might let one get down to the bottom to look at that city. Are they still looking for a test subject?
Oh, I'm sure they are. They're quite the they are very much into creating transportation devices and whatnot. So they're always looking for anyone willing to test things out for them.
Well, I have to admit, I'm not sure I can resist this one. Maybe I could. You could point me in their direction. I could go see about venturing our 20,000 leagues under the sea.
All right. Well, you're quite the brave one. Like I said, I couldn't do it. They got me as far as out into the ocean, and then that was it. I like my feet firmly on the ground and in my my invention shop.
I understand, but I've always had a thing for ancient cultures, and this just sounds too good to pass up. Where might I find these friends of yours?
Alrighty, you're going to be looking for the Block brothers.
The Alley Block brothers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And where can I find them?
She tells you can find them on Tinker's Road, closer towards the docks, like on that furthest part of the road. Okay. And you're looking for Lendoc and Git.
Doc and Git. Okay. All right. So I ask her if there's anything else I should know about them before I go seek them out.
Oh, okay. They're very I don't want to say anything to offend you or anything, give off the wrong impressions. I mean, these guys, I've known them since I was a kid. They're very much within their own little world and ideas. So they may be a bit taken back by you, and they're not the most socially they have a bit of social awkwardness to them.
Well, they don't have to love me. They just have to get me to the bottom of the ocean. So
fair enough. Like I said, I'm really sorry. I don't mean to say anything offensive to you at all. I mean,
he sort of waves his paw at this, and it's fine. It's fine. Believe me, I know I'm a stranger to strange land. Well, then, thank you for breakfast, and thank you for the suggestion. I think I'll...
Oh, yes, definitely. And feel free to finish eating and whatnot. I'm going to go finish up a couple things in back. But yeah, definitely finish your coffee. Don't let things get cold. Definitely eat up. Please, please. I insist.
Okay.
And she also, and actually, if you give me a moment, I will get you got an extra city map lying around. I'll go grab one for you so you don't get lost.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem. She grabs her coffee and heads off.
Okay. Rode sort of eats very demurely until she's out of sight, and then he just starts shoveling food in his face, like trying to finish them as fast as he possibly can. He pounds the coffee so that by the as you finish that cup of coffee, you see there's a large pewter like coffee refill, like a Keurig to refill your coffee, and you also notice that there are like cubes of sugar and a small cup of like cream of some sort and whatnot. She must have forgot to explain this to you, but it's all sitting next to the coffee. So, seeing the cream, Rhodes sort of looks around to make sure that he's watching, and then he picks up and he laps all of it up.
Oh yeah, it's like the creamiest milk you've ever had.
It, so he's got like just a hint of a little bit of like cream mustache there, which he's like trying to paw out of his whiskers.
As you are just setting down your little cup of milk, you see you hear footsteps coming down the steps, and you turn around to see if it's like your group, and you notice that it's actually the female Nikojin from last night. I think she was introduced as Naomi to you guys. So she notices you, and she gives you a really warm smile and looks around, and just kind of has like an inquiry look on her face, and you see she has her musical instrument behind her on her back.
Okay. I sort of wave and nod. But as curious as Rhodes is to get to know the Nikojin, he's sort of rationalizing, well, I'm going to have a number of days on the road with them. When we travel with them to get to know them. And so he's now more single-mindedly focused on like getting over to find these Alley Block brothers. See if he can find this lost city.
Alrighty. After a few minutes, she kind of like heads over to the bar and looks like she's waiting. You hear stuff going on in the kitchen. Blitz hasn't returned yet. And then after waiting a few moments, she turns around. She's like, excuse me, sir. I don't mean to interrupt your breakfast.
Yes? What can we do for you?
I was just wondering, do I need to go back into the kitchen, or is that what you had to do, or?
Oh, there was somebody out here when I came down.
Oh, okay.
Blitz is supposed to be back in a minute. I suppose you could either wait for her or, well, you don't. I'll go find someone who just stands up and marches back into the kitchen.
She gives, like, as you get up and do that, she goes, "Oh, no, please finish your breakfast. I was just asking."
No, I'm fine. I'm done. I'm really, honestly, I'm good. And I walk straight past her into the kitchen.
Excuse me. I think you have a little on your chin. She points to your chin, kind of like politely.
I sort of try to, paw off the cream off of my chin.
Oh yeah,
it was
smooth.
It was a good breakfast, and I awkwardly walk very rigidly into the kitchen.
She gives you a really cute, polite smile and everything. You hear her kind of like chuckle under her breath to herself as you walk past her. You stick your head in the kitchen and you see Fiora is like, looks like she's rolling out some dough of some sort. She's got an apron on. She looks at you. She's like, "Do you need something?"
Sorry to bother, but there's a young lady waiting at the bar. She was curious if there was any way she could get some breakfast.
Oh, okay. I'll be right out. She
take your time.
wipes her hands down and whatnot. She thanks you for giving her the heads up as you head back out.
I asked her real quick if she's seen Blitz, where Blitz went.
Oh, Blitz is in her office. I guess one of the delivery guys came by, so she's in the middle of meeting with them. Do you want me to go get her?
No. It's fine. It's fine. She was gonna grab me a map. If you see her, if you just let her know, I'll snag it later. And thank you very much. And Road just sort of turns around, walks off, tells Naomi as he passes by that they'll be right out. And he just heads straight out the door.
Okay, it was nice to meet you.
You too, as he sort of falls back. I mean, like, not even looking at her, like, just sort of puts up a hand and continues on. Off to find these Ollie Block brothers, convinced that he does not need no stinking map.
Okay, so you need to make a, let's see.
Besides, I think I have that magical one that updates. I think I was the party member.
You do, but it's a map of like the whole continent of Arias. It doesn't have like a zoom in effect.
That's fine.
So like it just kind of slightly shifts over the dot that represents Fitzpark.
Okay, that's fine. I will make whatever whatever check you need me to make to figure out if I can find where I'm going.
Okay. Let's see. Since city is not your natural terrain, I'll have you make a survival check with disadvantage.
Okay. Okay, so that first one is a 23, and that second one is a 15.
Okay. All right. So you do just a bit of wandering. You actually head further deep into the Tinker's Road area and until you get your bearings and whatnot. And by now, shops are really starting, like you hear the sound of workshops starting to fire up forges, and hammering off in the distance is starting to come in more frequently, and more people are starting to kind of fill about the streets and roads.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get close towards the edge of Tinker's Road and whatnot. And let's see. Can you see this pointer?
Yeah, I can see where the circle is.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That circle is the general area you make your way towards.
Okay.
So you see over here, you see like smaller workshops, not any of the large guild workshops that were on the main drag of Tinker's Road. This is a more small family business area.
Is there is there like any sign that I can see that signifies the Alley Block Brothers? And if there's not, is there somebody I can ask?
What languages do you speak?
I speak Common, Draconic, Elvish, and Halfling.
Okay. You see a variety of like Common and Halfling, and then you see what looks to be like Dwarvish and then Gnomish. So as far as the languages you do speak, you don't see anything that indicates the Alley Block Brothers. So you might have to make an investigation check or ask around.
Yeah, let me I'll make an investigation check. Let's see if we can find it here. And that is a 17.
Okay. So let's see. You do pass somebody who's carrying like a cart of stuff, and you see on his wagon, he's got a couple of different size boxes, and one of them has the name Ollie Block on it.
Okay.
As he's passing by.
All right. So I'll ask him if he could please point me to the Alley Block Brothers.
You stop him, and he looks at you. He's like, oh, hi. Oh, good morning.
Morning.
Hi.
Furry, strange, totally understand. It's okay. I'm looking for the Alley Block Brothers. Is there any way that you could point me in their general direction? I understand that they've done some interesting work with vehicles.
Oh my God, it talks.
Yes, it does talk.
Yeah.
Like I say this aloud and like look at like no menace, no like annoyance, just like right in the eye. Yes, I do indeed talk with words in my mouth.
He nervously laughs. Oh, that's awkward. Yeah, actually, I just came from there. He turns around and points back. 2 houses down on the left, you'll see the wrench and sledgehammer crossed over their sign.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much. I appreciate the help.
Yeah, no worries.
And I take off down in the direction that he told me.
Hey folks, we'll be right back with the rest of the show, but first we want to share a quick word from our friends over at Do or Dice.
The power-hungry emperor failed in a high-stakes gamble, and in a single instance, cities vanished, whole forests were burnt to dust, and the emperor was gone. As the centuries have passed, the land now sits in a frail peace, but nothing is ever how it seems. Hi, I'm Trent, and I play Talmor on Do or Dice. We are a 5th edition real play podcast set in a homebrew world of Agmanestus 2 centuries after that event, which was called The Shattering. If I have at all enticed you to listen to our fine show, you can find us at doordicepodcast.com or wherever you download podcasts. We want to thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next time. Same dice time, same dice channel.
Greetings, friends. Just a quick word before we jump back into the show. If you've been enjoying this week's episode, please take the time to review us wherever you get your podcasts. Reviews help us spread the word and grow the show so that we can bring you even more exciting content. And whenever you find yourself wanting to know more about Arias, Farwind, or our fantastic players, please make sure to check out our website at partyadvantagepodcast.com. You'll find it full of character backstories, lore, maps, and much, much more. Thank you so much for listening, and now, back to the show. Okay, you find a house that looks a bit worn down from the outside, like it doesn't look like the front steps have been swept or the windows have been, washed in, I don't know, a couple of years. It definitely looks not that it looks dilapidated, but it definitely looks worn and weathered compared to a lot of the other buildings and houses along this street. And you do in fact see the sign the young man was telling you.
Okay. Well, I'll knock on the door.
You knock, and after a few minutes you don't hear anything.
Okay. So can I see in the windows at all?
Yeah, you see in the windows, and you see through a nice layer of dust and film what looks to be an empty front, like small foyer area with a counter area. You see some shelves that look pretty bare with some knickknacks and whatnot scattered about here and there. You see the front desk or the front counter area looks to have like a plant that died years ago but is for some reason still there. And beyond that, you see a curtained entryway leading to another part of the building.
Okay. So I'm just gonna see if I can open the door.
It isn't unlocked.
Okay. I'm gonna open the door and sort of call in. Hello. I'm looking.
Go ahead.
I'm looking for the Alley Block Brothers.
When you open it, the chime that lost its bell, kind of like clangs and then comes loose and drops on top of and bounces off your head and then hits the floor.
All right, so it's more of a I'm looking for the Alley Block Brothers. Just
after a few minutes, you hear some banging in the back, and you hear like what sounds like arguing in the back. No, there's no one there. And plus, even if there was, it's your turn to go and greet them. I greeted the last person, and I hated it. He was an arsehole. And then you hear some more muttering and whatnot, and you hear something heavy drop, and then, ow! Oh, you... And then it gets back down to just like muttered arguing that you can't really make out. You see a bell on the counter.
All right, so I'm gonna sort of casually stroll over the bell, and then I'm going to ding 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 ding.
When you go to do that, it doesn't make a ding 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 ding. It just does a and then stops like the bell's broke.
I'm gonna pick it up, look at it, annoyed, huck it over my shoulder, and go, "Yep, there's an asshole in the foyer."
You hear it. Shit. Okay, how about this? Rock, paper, scissors, and losers gotta go. Best out of 3. No, you motherfucker! I went last time. Fine, you're the worst. Ugh. But then you get the next 2. After a few moments, you hear feet shuffling and whatnot, and a stocky gnome comes out and whatnot. You see he's got regular wire rim glasses on, and then on top of his head he's got goggles pulled up over them. You see he's got work gloves on and whatnot. He's already, even though it's still early in the morning, he's still covered in like grime and soot. He has like tired bags under his eyes, like he's been up all night, and he's like, "Hello, welcome to Ollie Blocks. What can I do for you today?"
I understand
You must not have so much money that you especially chose our shop to buy our fantastic wares. What can I do for you?
So at this point, Rode is sort of got this like annoyed smirk on his face, and he goes, "I understand that you all are the people that can get me to the bottom of the ocean."
Who the fuck told you that?
That would be Blitz.
Kind of perks up. Oh, how is she? He kind of gives like a saucy grin.
Wouldn't know. Not my fare, exactly.
Waiting for the ladies to get in heat.
Nope. Just furry. So, ocean,
Gotcha.
bottom of it.
Is that a? I got a question. Is that a mask that you're wearing because I don't know, you're into that sort of thing?
Why don't you tug on it and find out, friend?
I'm not that interested.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, ocean, bottom of it.
What about it? It's deep.
Yeah, looking for a city down there.
Okay. Like a mermaid city or something?
No, some lost gnomish city that apparently was in the sky and fell into the ocean.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay. Blitz is trying to get back in my good graces, isn't she? Just because she like upchucked all over the deck of my skiff, huh?
No, she blatantly told me that I was a lunatic for coming over here, but here I am. So, are you the people who can get me there, or do I need to go look for somebody else?
I mean, I'm the person you're looking for. It's, I'm the brains behind all of this. Yeah, I can get you down to the bottom of the ocean. It's no problem.
Really? You're the brains? The one who lost
Yeah.
the rock, paper, scissors?
I didn't lose. Okay, hey, you know what? Don't come in here and judge me and how I do business with, I reserve the right to reject your business. This is my establishment.
Oh, I understand. I can see the long line of people standing outside to take a ride in your underwater apparatus.
Okay, just okay.
All right. Now that we understand each other,
Yeah,
how
totally.
about
We got an awesome understanding. What? Okay, so a cat wants to get into a ball and then be chucked down into the ocean.
I mean, when you put it that way, it sounds even more fun.
No, I mean, I guess if that drowning cats is your thing, but it's not mine.
So your machine doesn't work, is what you're telling me.
I mean, in theory, it works.
Okay. So in practice, it what?
In practice, it works.
Okay, then.
After that, another gnome bursts into the room, younger, a bit more wiry. This guy looks like he hasn't slept in years, but I mean, like, his eyes are huge and wide and whatnot. He still has his goggles, which like makes his eyes look even bigger at the moment. He's like, no, okay, don't listen to this. He pushes his brother aside. Okay, look, he's not the brains. He's an idiot. Okay, no, it works. It floats and it sinks. It just needs a couple of things, but it does mostly what it's supposed to do. And he's not. I can get you down into the bottom of the ocean. Yeah. And if you're looking for the city, then you and I, you know what? He leans in. He's like, then you and I, we got this. We could split whatever we find, and we'll be famous. Okay? I'm telling you, famous.
Well, you can have the fame. I have very little interest in that, but if you help me find the city, I will keep me from being bored. And that's really my whole goal in life.
Oh, you know what? I'm never bored. I like to stay busy, and I can help you not be bored. And we can find this city, and we'll be famous. We will have so much money. We can move out of this place, and Mom will finally like me more, and it will be fantastic. And then I'll get to be the one to ask Blitz out.
Well, that sounds like a plan to me. Apparently Blitz is very popular. Excellent. I like this plan. So you keep saying it can get me to the bottom of the ocean, which I love. Just follow-up question.
Uh-huh.
It can also get me back from the bottom of the ocean too, correct?
He just looks at you, like, not blinking at all. His eyes still kind of like locked on you, and a grin kind of like still stuck on his face. He's like, in theory, yeah.
Good enough for me. Let's do this.
the other brother's just like, okay, how about first we cut back on the mine dust and the coffee. That's not a good combo. And secondly, okay, mister, you have to be just
bored, like I said.
Okay, bored, or just like, I don't know, one of those, what do they call them, adventure junkies or thrill seeker, or suicidal. I'm going to go with suicidal, especially if you're going with my idiot brother's idea and you're going to listen to him. Like,
I hear what you're saying. Saying.
Okay. Oh, God.
I prefer the term adventurer to suicidal. I mean, same connotation in some cultures, but one is just a little kinder than the other. So.
And one, well, both actually, could guarantee death.
They could, but then I wouldn't be bored either. So.
Jesus.
Ocean, bottom of it. Let's do it, Git. I go like high five.
Git, he's like, oh yes, I love these. And he high fives you, and he does not have a strong high five at all.
So it just bounces off.
It does.
We're going to work on that, Git.
Yeah. I like working on things. Working on things is the best.
All right. So where do we start?
Well, let's see. And Len's like, okay, well, first, I would just like to point out to the two of you that it's my boat that we'll be taking. And secondly, we have to get your motherfucking submersible capsule, whatever the fuck you're calling it, onto the boat. And I don't see our big burly employee we used to have here until you fucked him up and he quit. So we don't have muscle.
So you need muscle. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm not the burliest individual, but I could help, or I can acquire some muscle.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we need some muscle to get it on the boat. Sounds great. Glad to hear you're on board, by the way. Okay. So how much muscle do you need? You're talking one very strong person? Are you talking several? You need a crane?
Oh.
What are you looking for?
Well, we had a Goliath in our employ until Get over here gave him just a smidge too much mind dust, and then he lost his fucking mind.
Okay. So, Get.
Yeah.
Dial down the mind dust for this particular journey.
Uh-huh.
And then once
Only,
we're rich and famous, you can have as much mind dust as you want.
Okay? Oh, I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Because that's what
you see, he's like nervously biting at his nails.
So Road noticing this and becoming very aware that he's about to get into a submarine built by a cokehead, is somehow yet he's like, yeah, it's one of those it's probably a bad idea, but
should have gone to the park. In all honesty,
but there's a city down there, so risks accepted. And so he goes,
fuck it.
Okay, so I need to go find us a Goliath or the equivalent therein, is what you're saying.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Where might I find said sort of people?
I mean, you can head to the docks and see if there's any folks loitering about there who are looking for work. You can also head to, I don't know, there's people milling about the Shinebox Square.
Okay. To the docks or the Shinebox Square, whichever one I stumble onto first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and head to the boat and start getting that ready. I guess once you find your muscle, come back here and you and fucking Get can... Yeah.
Got it. All right.
This is going to be great.
I'll be back as he, thrusts a finger out way too close to Git's face and then turns around and dashes out of the building.
You hear Git's like, goodbye, new best friend. I'm so glad I have a new friend. I'm going to go do a hit. And he takes off behind his curtain.
Only half a bob. Rogue yells back and then runs off. Okay, so it looks like Shinebox Square. So it looks like I'm closer to the docks than Shinebox Square based on the map. Okay, so I'm gonna try to head to the docks then.
Yep.
And go see if I can find some muscle.
Okay. You head to the docks. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
That is an 18. I'm sorry, it's a 17. It's a 17.
Alrighty. Okay. You head over and you see the ship you came in on the night before is still docked. And then you see a large ship that looks almost like a military naval ship. And then you see 2 large galleons and then a couple of smaller galleys.
Okay. So what I want to do is I want to look around and see if I can find anybody who's, plenty buff and just sort of loitering, like maybe they don't have anything to do at the moment. Do I see anybody like that? Or is everybody sort of gainfully employed, as it were?
Yeah, you see a couple of larger folks. You see 2 big, large human fellas who are both carrying both working together to carry a very, very large crate up a gangplank. And you watch them for a few minutes. One of them's bald and has some tattoos on the back of his head. The other one, he's got a scruffy beard and his ears are just pierced out the wazoo. And his nose has a thick ring hanging off of him.
So what sort of clothing are they wearing?
They are wearing baggy pants and sturdy, thick black boots. One of them's completely shirtless, and then the other one has a short sleeved, just a peasant shirt on that is just soaked in sweat at the moment.
Okay, so I'm gonna sort of take a step around a corner so that I'm sort of out of sight, and I'm going to use the ability of my Pharos studded leather armor to speak the command word Pharos and have it transform in appearance to look like a garb similar to what they're wearing. So I look sort of like I'm of the same look.
Okay.
Cool. And then I'm going to sort of stroll up, and I'm going to walk up to him and go, so what do they pay you to lift boxes all day around here?
We both stop and look at you and size up what you are and what you're wearing. And there's one of them talks and it's just bit of silver. Why?
What if I can double that for half a day's work?
The other one just kind of grunts at the one who talked to you and looks like he's wanting to just kind of push on ahead. And the other one's like, well, okay, wait. Are you hiring?
Yeah, I'm putting on an expedition with a couple of their sailors of mine, and we're looking for a couple strong backs to help shuffle some of the gear around. Pay a couple gold just for the day. You know anybody who might be interested?
Oh, well, I'd be interested.
No.
You said it's just a couple gold?
A couple gold, unless you're good.
Each?
Yeah. Per head.
He looks to the other fellow. He's like, "What do you think?" The other one's just like, wants to push off. Make a persuasion check.
Okay. My worst skill ever. Not very bad. I have a -1 persuasion. Oh, but I rolled a 19, so that's an 18.
Huzzah! Hey, you pull out your best Mannie Popple charm.
And I'm like, I've been practicing in the mirror for weeks now.
Ladies,
go to sleep.
Sleep. Yeah. Come on, why don't we? It's a couple gold. We could buy some rounds tonight. Maybe go to that one place you wanted to check out. Yeah. He sets down his end of the crate, and the other guy just kind of grunts. He's just like, sets down his end too, begrudgingly. Both dust themselves off. Just like, yeah, we're willing to make some gold.
All right. Well, then come with me. And
first question.
Uh-huh. Yes?
Are you just a real fucked up Nico-chin?
No, I'm from a completely different continent. Second question. Was there one?
What's the name?
My name?
Yeah.
Road. You can call
Road?
me Road.
Like as in like a dusty road?
Well,
Like-
one that winds in my case, but yes.
Okay. It's an odd name.
What are your names?
I'm Vemith, and this here is Emith.
Emeth and Emeth. I will
Yes.
never remember those. VD, it is. All right. So, any other questions before you want to sit around here and talk some more before we make some gold?
I don't think so.
All right, then. Right this way. And I lead them back to the Alley Block Brothers.
Alrighty. You hear, Oi, where are you boys going? You're not finished loading that? And Vemith is just like, fuck off, we're getting paid more. And Emeth just turns around and just gives the guy double middle fingers, turns and walks off.
I like these guys. All right. Emeth and Emeth. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so I take him back to the Alley Block Brothers.
Along your way, make a perception check.
Okay. That would be a 14.
Okay. By now it's really starting to pick up and be busy and whatnot. The shops are fully open now, and people are calling back and forth to each other. Along the way, just out of the peripheral vision of your eye, you happen to notice Naomi again. This time, looks like she's in the middle of talking to 3 tall human men. They look a little bit rough around the edges. These guys are, while not as like huge and bulking as the 2 guys with you, they look to have a bit of muscle on them. And you see her brows are kind of furrowed as she's like trying to talk to them and whatnot, and one has his arms crossed and kind of smirking down at her.
Okay. Can I hear anything? Can I hear what they're saying?
Yeah, you're close enough. You can catch some of what's being said.
Okay. What do I hear?
It sounds like she's just like, no, thank you. I'm good. I'm heading that way. And she's pointing towards the Shinebox Square. And she gets ready to make a step to kind of like circle around them. And the guy puts his hand up in front of her chest, like hold her back. And he's like, no, wait. Okay. What if we offer 10 gold? All right. How's that sound to you, sweet cheeks? And she just kind of like looks more adamantly at them. She's just like, I said no, thank you.
So at this point, I stop and I turn to the Vemith and I go, how would you guys like to make some gold today and also beat the shit out of those guys? Then just wait. Then just wait here. and I head over and I call out, Naomi, there you are.
Oh, she like a huge wash of relief goes over her face as she Rhodes, yes, hey. Ooh.
I've been looking all over for you. Who are these persons? And I sort of narrow my eyes at them.
A tall human who, I mean, you're a tall fellow,
Yeah, I'm
right?
6'3".
Yeah, he's about the same height as you and whatnot. He turns around and looks at you. He has like a rough look about him. He looks pretty well traveled and whatnot. And you see he's got like a really sharp sword at his side and a shield and axe on his back. And he's just like, okay, now this is interesting. Now they have full-blown walking kitty cats. Huh. Are you her pet or her pimp?
I look
The
at
guys
him.
behind him chuckle.
I look at him square in the eye and lift up one of my paws and flex so the claws come out and go, we do more than just walk.
Oh shit. Okay, are you trying to go for intimidation?
Essentially, yes.
Okay, go ahead and make an intimidation
Also
check.
my worst skill. And that's a 6.
I'm just throwing them all. His friends behind him laugh and whatnot, and he just has this like shit-eating grin on his face. He's just like, "Oh, the little kitty cat's trying to show paws. That's adorable." Yeah, fuck off. We're talking to the lady. And he gives you a really firm push on your chest as he turns around and looks down at her again.
Well, we're going for it. So I'm claws out right to his face, just right across the eyes.
Since he's not paying attention to you, I'll give you an attack with advantage.
So that's good because that first roll was shit. So let's see here. That is, it's only a 13.
That does not.
All
hit.
right.
You kind of like, he turns around. He's like, "Oh, that was a bad idea there, kitty cat." And he just full on headbutt. What's your AC?
18.
That just hits as he cracks you across your forehead.
Okay. So,
And you take 5 points of damage.
okay. Well then.
Damage.
All right. Is it my turn again then?
It is. So since we're gonna do this, let's go ahead and go with initiative.
Okay. So that is a 15 for my initiative.
Alrighty. You said you had a what again? I'm sorry.
I had a 15.
15. Okay. So the guy is going to go first.
Okay.
And he draws his long sword out and goes to cut at you.
Okay.
And it's an 18, so that just hits. And you take the stats for a long time.
You 1d8 plus whatever.
That's what that's what I thought. So you take 8 points of damage. He slashes across your chest.
Okay then. All right. So so it's my turn or his other goon's turn then?
It's actually going to be your turn.
Awesome. So, Slayer's Prey, first and foremost, and then since I'm in melee range, I guess I will lash out with my short sword as opposed to my bow.
Okay.
Okay, so that's crap. It's a 14.
To hit him?
Yeah, 14 to hit.
That misses.
Damn it. All right.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
All right. So, next up is Naomi, and she's actually going to cast a spell on you. Bardic Inspiration. That's what I was going for.
Excellent. Things I will need.
So yeah, she takes a step, she gives him a furious look, and she pulls out her instrument, and you hear this heavy strum across it, and she strikes it with a fury, and that stringed instrument lets out this bomb, and you are inspired now.
Excellent. All right.
And now it's your guys' turns. They're gonna see you in trouble and you being their money for the day. Vemeth rushes over to engage that fella, and Emeth steps right here.
Okay.
They both take their attacks. And oh, nice hit. And Jesus, they both really good. 10. That's so both they both succeed in their landing their attacks.
Okay.
You see Emeth just full on with his bare fist punch the asshole in front of you right in the side of the temple really hard. You hear crack, almost seeing the stars forming around that guy's head and whatnot. And you hear a punch coming from Vemeth to the guy standing next to the other dude. He punches him full on right in the sternum.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like these guys.
Oh, yeah. So then these guys are going to, his goonies are going to attack. And this guy is going to step forward and try to attack Vemeth. And so is the other guy. So Vemeth is going to get attacked by both of these spells.
Oh, poor Vemeth.
Misses and a 9 misses. Misses. And that's just 1 hit. So he's only taking 1 hit.
Okay.
He only takes 9 damage, so he's fine.
Good.
And
don't get to kill my muscle.
So that brings us back to the top, I believe.
Okay.
And that's going to be the main baddie.
Okay.
So he shakes his head real quick, you know, reeling back from that side hit to the head. And he's still going to try to come at you with the sword.
All right. Bring it.
Let's see. You said 18, so 16 does not hit, so he misses.
Okay.
So it's your turn.
All right. So I'm gonna, since I've already used Slayer's Prey on him, which should remain in effect. So now I can double wield my short swords.
Before I forget, are you going for lethal damage or just non-lethal?
I'm gonna go for non-lethal on this
Okay.
Because
Alrighty.
killing somebody in the middle of the street in the city sounds like it might be a bad idea.
Okay.
So that first hit is, I like that a lot. That's a 25.
That hits.
Okay, and so the damage on that one with Slayer's Prey is 10 damage. And then so my offhand, that's only a 15.
15 does not hit, but the first one did.
Okay, all right. So that's 10 damage from that first short sword hit.
All right, nice. Alrighty, yeah, he's looking pretty with that blow to the head, and then that strike right there.
So I just tell him to, look at him in the eye after I hit him, and I just go, still time to piss off and run away.
Oh, motherfucker. He mutters under his breath. So then it is Naomi's turn. So she after she played those strings of those chords for you real quick, she whips her instrument behind her back, and then you see like a flash of metal come out from under her sleeve as she attacks him with a dagger from behind. So she gets an advantage since you both are flanking. And actually, I should have given you advantage as well. So, oh my god, nat 20. Nice.
This is why I should always use my bow. Never my swords.
So you see as she comes up right behind him, almost like putting her arms around him. She's just like, do you like these arms around you? And she like jabs her dagger like right up the side of his ribs.
Ooh.
And he lets out a grunt. And she pulls out. He like gets a gasp of air from that attack. And you see the dagger flash under her sleeves as she gives you a nod. And then it is our fella's turn. Egith like looks down at her and is just like, gives her a nod. So he goes in for his attack, and Vemeth is over here taking on these two guys like a boss. All right. We're all really good.
Nice.
I was gonna say, I wish I could roll this spell, but it's my time to play.
Yeah, I know, right? I always roll so much better when I'm fighting you guys.
Right? So next to you, Vemeth, rolled 2 nat 20s in a row.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So he just like basically takes the guy directly in front of him, and with the full force of his weight just smashes his forces him head smash down onto the ground, and the guy just like completely goes limp. He's not dead, but he's definitely out.
Good. Good.
Yeah. So I'll just go ahead and remove him. And that brings us back up to our main baddie. He, even though he is hurting pretty bad, he's still pretty fired up from all of this. So he's going to try to get one more good attack on.
All right.
And 19 hits.
Yep.
You take 9 points of damage as he manages to get another slash right across your chest again. Pretty much like making an X across you.
All right.
And now it is your turn.
Okay, so
You see the wound where Naomi hit him just pouring blood.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go for another round of attacks then.
Mm-hmm.
So that is an 18.
Oh yeah.
First one, and then the second attack. Awesome, that's another 25.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that first attack would be 16 points of damage with the Slayer's Prey damage, and then the offhand is just 1 point of damage, so 17 points of damage total.
Awesome. Okay, so especially with that first attack, how do you want to end it?
Since I'm fighting with the flats of the blade, just trying to knock him out here. What I would really love to do for flavor is just bring both of them together on the side of his temples, like box his ears with the flats of the blade, to just bop. Yeah. With
that, his eyes just almost go cross-eyed as he drops to his knees and just passes the fuck out. The last guy standing, he's just like, oh, fuck this, as he turns around and takes off into the crowd.
Awesome.
Vemeth looks like he's getting ready to take off after him, but he's just like, not worth it.
So just like, I agree with him. But before I do anything else, I want to put a finger in a little bit of this first baddie's blood, and I just want to write pussy across his forehead.
Nice.
And with that, I stand up and I look at Naomi and I go, all right then. So, y'all all good?
I am now. Thank you. That was lucky we ran into each other again. They were not the nicest of fellows.
Yeah, they seem to need some practice in manners, I suppose.
I suppose. I guess I should have waited till my brothers woke up before I headed out on my own, but I just was tired of staying around the inn. Are these more of your party members who will be joining us?
For the afternoon. And I go, by the way, gentlemen, I think we've earned a raise. And sort of clap them both on the shoulders. We go, so Naomi, we are about to, I'm about to climb into what I imagine is a metal ball to be dropped to the bottom of the ocean. Care to come and watch?
She kind of blushes a little bit at being asked. Okay, you're being dropped into a ball?
Yeah, I'm told there's a city down there. So I'm going to look for it. These guys are going to do the heavy lifting.
I'd actually kind of love to. That sounds interesting.
All right, then. Let's go.
So yeah, she gladly joined your company. Smiles up at both the guys and thanks them very much for their assistance. The big silent one, Emeth, who grunts normally, he just kind of like, you see his look soften as he smiles down at her.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vemeth just like gives her a wide toothy grin, just like, no worry, anything for a pretty lady.
Awesome. It doesn't even occur to Road to like introduce everybody.
Yeah,
it's just like, and we're off. And,
you have your own mini adventuring party now, so you're good.
So So I lead them back towards the Alley Block brothers.
So you guys head back with no problem. Along the way, like Naomi's just kind of like you, a fish out of water here. She's definitely like taking in the large buildings and whatnot. Every time you guys pass like an interesting booth with like wares that you have never seen before, she, her ears twitch as she checks them out and whatnot. So she definitely has a curiosity and things about her as you guys are heading back.
Rhodes notices this, but he doesn't remark on it or say anything. Just sort of, smiles inwardly and stows it away as they continue on.
Kind of reminds you of your first time out on the road with your parents and whatnot, seeing the cool stuff you got to see. She definitely has an air about her like this is a new experience.
Well, we'll make it a memorable one then.
So, you guys arrived back at the Ollie-Block place, and you just push right on in.
There's no use knocking the door.
Exactly.
All right, so I just push on in, and I'm assuming they're still back in like that curtain room they were before.
Oh yeah, you hear stuff clattering and whatnot, and then you hear what sounds like glass breaking, and you hear Git's just like, oh shit. All right, so I instead of like trying to find that bell and clang it a little more, or I just walk back through the curtain and just sort of brush it aside and go, I found our muscle. And let me introduce Vemeth and Emeth. I think those are your names, right? Yes, those are their names. Yeah.
Point them to what we need lifting.
You step into the back and you see like one half of the room looks fairly organized and whatnot, and then the other half of the room looks like fucking tornado whipped through. It looks like a hot mess as you see Gets over on the messy side, obviously, as he's like looks like he's trying to sweep something up onto a tray, and you see he's like picking up shards of like glass and whatnot, and he looks up, he's just like, oh hey, the cat's back. He's like pointing at nobody. Like he can't, like he's turned to look to where his brother usually is, but his brother's not there, and he's just like, he came back. This is awesome. My friend came back. Yeah. And you brought more friends. Yeah. He like comes around and you see he's like dusting his hands off of like some black powder of some sort. Smells like a blast powder.
I said half a bump.
No. This isn't my special stuff. He sniffs his hands. He's like, oh, this is blast powder. I need to go wash my hands real quick. I might make something explode.
Yes.
Like walks over to a water basin as he begins like cleaning his hands. He's like, oh, you're bringing your lady friend along. That's nice. I didn't know that cats do travel, but that's adorable. Cute. He just kind of like mutters to himself.
I turn back to the other guys and I go, I assure you, he is a consummate professional with like my hands on my hips.
Yeah, the two brothers are like, are you sure we're getting paid? Is he paying us or are you paying us?
I'm paying you and I'm fairly certain I'm going to die. But I'm sure he is a consummate professional.
So should we get... Okay, well, if you're going to die, should we get paid now?
Half now.
Half now. Okay. Not he's just like Vemeth is just, I'm not trying to be rude or anything. It just, if you die, I don't think this guy's gonna remember shit for shit.
So I go ahead and I pay them each 3 gold pieces.
Oh, sweet. Hey, we're definitely gonna get to go to the Blushing Ruby tonight, man. Great.
There are ladies present, gentlemen.
They turn and look at Naomi, and Vemeth's just like, begging your pardon, miss. I'm sorry. She's just like, no, it's quite all right.
He says it's okay. All right. So what do we need to lift?
Oh, okay. Follow me out back into the courtyard. That's where Bertha is. See, like has this like weird like longing smile that comes across his face. He heads out into this other exit as you four follow, maybe hesitantly.
I'm almost uncomfortable to touch Bertha. But yes, we do follow. I've come this far.
You really want to get out into the water.
and dolt out what Road feels as 6 meaningless pieces of shiny metal. So...
Thanks for joining us for the Arias adventures here on Party Advantage. Come check out our community on our Discord channel and hang out with the cast and fellow fans of the show by following the link in the description down below. Find us on Twitter and Facebook using @PartyAdvantage to check out fun post polls and special announcements. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you stay current with all our episodes on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Come back next week for the Farwind Saga run by fellow DM Rob Kerr. Will the party find an advantage on their next encounter? Only one way to find out. See you then.